Hey folks, welcome to the channel. It's good to have you. So today I'm going to be doing a review of the Magpul Hunter American stock for the Ruger American rifle. This stock very specifically is for the short action version of the rifle, which as far as I know is most of them. As far as the magazines, this particular version, I'm running AICS pattern mags with it. This one, I'm running the Stanag mags, which in brevity is AR mags. That's what it means. The Stanag mags, they're kind of hit or miss, depending on what caliber you're shooting, especially if it's anything that deviates from 223, 556, 300 blackout. As far as 300 blackout is concerned, there are some special considerations. I'm going to pull out some dummy rounds here. These are, 300 blackout. So taking these dummy rounds that I have here, it's a magazine, dude. Goodness gracious. This is a dummy round that has a 220 grain berries bullet in it. It's a long bullet. Pretty easily fits in an AR mag. Here, let me get up close. That's the room we got to spare, just a little bit, not too much. This bullet is a 168 grain Nosler Match Monster. And if you're just going to load one round in the mag, you'll be good. You start loading more than one, that's when things get kind of funky. If you're going to be doing any reloading for 300 blackout, in particular with heavier bullets, you might want to consider an AICS pattern mag. This particular one is an MDT magazine, and that's got plenty of room in there for that bullet. These magazines, as far as which version of the stock you should get, whether it takes AR mags or AICS pattern mags, long story short, if you reload, you're probably going to want to get the variation of the stock, the version of the stock that has your that has the AICS bolt action magwell, because with the Stanag magwell, you've got you can buy one of these, the Stanag magwell. The AICS pattern magwell, bolt action magwell, I'm not sure you can buy that. So realistically, if you're going to be running factory ammo, Stanag will be fine for 300 blackout. If you're going to be reloading, as far as 300 blackout is concerned, I think you'd be better off actually going with the AICS pattern magwell. The stock comes in a few options as far as colors. Black, flat dark earth, which I don't have here, the Magpul variation of flat dark earth at least. Stealth gray. One thing about the stealth gray stocks and the olive drab stocks, the OD green, is on Midway, olive drab and stealth gray are regularly listed as discontinued. This one I bought at a Cabela's, and Cabela's, at least the few stores I visited, they only seem to have this stock in black and flat dark earth. As far as stealth gray or olive drab, might be better off buying it online. One thing about these stocks, one pretty big deterrent, I would assume for many people, is the price. These things retail at $300. You know, they can be found for $285. But these stocks, I love them, man. I love them. These stocks are, they've got some pretty nice features. I'll go over those features in a little bit. But basically, it's kind of difficult to justify spending $300 on a stock when the gun is probably, I'm gonna pay for this. Out the door, this rifle cost me 400 and change when I bought it in 2020. I'm gonna give you guys a quick rundown in case you're not familiar with these stocks. One thing I'm seeing a lot of in online reviews and websites that ask if you have to, how do you remove the bolt with this stock? Because this comb height, this riser, it's clearly going to get in the way. But it seems that people just don't seem to get. Rotate it, slides right out. Now, let me get you guys closer to this. So starting from the back of the gun, we've got an adjustable length of pull, which is adjusted via these spacers. Well, there's this slanted spacer, which is on seemingly a lot of the hunter stocks for different rifles. And then there's this spacer. This will give you a 1/2 inch length of pull adjustment. It comes with 4 of the spacers. When you buy it out of the box, it's got 2 of them installed. We've got these footman loops, I believe is what they call them. It's got provisions for QD cups. Basically, you pop this puppy off, and you got one of these on each side. Put a QD cup in there. Goodness, I gotta get this in frame. Put your QD cup in there. If you look, there's a fastener. I should probably clean that. That'll be all right. Using a doggone AICS pattern mag with this mag well installed. The stock, a lot of reviews as far as a lot of the reviews that I've seen as far as people, as far as hunters using these, they say that it adds about 3 pounds to the rifle. If you're going to be hunting, you may or may not want it. But moving on, got 3 M-lock slots on at the 3 and 9 o'clock position. It's got 2 at the bottom, as well as these 2 dimpled areas, as well as one in the back. There we go. If you happen to be someone who favors a more traditional setup for mounting your sling. As far as the Hunter American stock, like most of the Hunter stocks for, at least in this configuration, a full stock, if you will, it's got a bedding block inside, an aluminum bedding block. And in this particular instance, this variation of the Hunter stock, it comes with V blocks. There are, between the action, you've got the action, the V block, the bedding block, and then bolts go straight through that. So that's about as tight as you're going to get, just shy of a chassis. As far as these stocks, is it worth it? That depends. How far are you trying to shoot? How much, if you're trying to squeeze every ounce of accuracy out of a factory action and a factory barrel, I think it would be a significant improvement. I think maybe not drastic, but I think you'll notice the difference. As far as whether you should or shouldn't buy it, what's your tolerance? How much are you willing to spend to get tighter grooves if the best you can do is based off this stock, which I know it sounds like I'm hating on Ruger. I don't hate Ruger at all. As a gun manufacturer, I think Ruger's great. I think that they have managed to produce firearms, cheaper alternatives to expensive firearms, while maintaining a level of quality. You know, is this going to outshoot? Is a $400 rifle, let's call it 500 for kicks and giggles, is a $500 rifle with a $300 stock going to shoot as well as an $800 gun? Maybe, maybe not. But I think more importantly, it has to do with your ability, your skill level as a shooter. I can tell you this: I do a lot of whenever I take these to the range, I'm either on the bench or I got my shooting mat out there. So the weight, the 3 extra pounds, doesn't bother me one way or the other. Now, as far as these stocks, the Hunter series of stocks in general are concerned, I think they're great. But I like things tactical but practical. You see here on this one, I've got a front sling mount and a QD cup. I used to have a bipod. Actually, I still have the bipod. But I used to put a bipod, it was an M-LOK bipod that would mount to the sides. That thing was kind of goofy. Took a lot of room in my in the safe. These stocks will accept a barrel profile up to medium palma. I think that's how it's pronounced. Which I don't know exactly what diameter that is. I'll also say, actually, you know what? Let me grab some AR mags, some different ones. Going back to 300 Blackout, though, I got a 300 Blackout magazine comparison video for this rifle. I mean, we got PMag, we got the PMag. Move this fella out of the way. The Lancer mag, specific to 300 Blackout. And wild card here, we've got a Hera magazine. One thing that's kind of odd about the combination of this action using this bolt and the Lancer mags, 300 Blackout specific mags, is the last round bolt hold open that people love so much. Actually, let me show you folks how it should work in these rifles. PMag. Follower stops the bolt from going forward when you run empty. I don't remember what the Hera mag does here. Let's give that a look. Same thing. The Lancer mags due to the shape of the follower, I'll let you close the action on an empty mag. And that's not to say anything bad about Lancer, because for all intents and purposes, that's this specific application. Let me get back in frame here. This specific application is not really within what this magazine was designed for. And because of that, I can't gig Lancer about this. These are what are these called? L5 AWM magazines. This is a standard 10-round PMag. It's an ironic statement. And this Hera mag These are German made, by the way. I don't know if that's relevant, but that's also an ironic thing. Now, realistically, I have not, since I got the Stanag Magwell for the Hunter American, that's what it's called. I have not tried that in my 5.56 rifle. And the reason is because by the time I got the Stanag Magwell, I already had 5 AICS pattern magazines for 5.56. One for 223, a Ruger magazine. I think I had this one already. This MDT magazine. This particular magazine, by the way, its model number is 104760-BLK. We'll talk more about this in a future video, but for now, I think I've dragged this video out pretty much long enough. One thing that I failed to mention is when you buy these stocks, the AICS bolt action magwell, I think it's very specific to this stock. And by that, I mean, I don't know if this one will work on the Hunter 110, the Hunter 700. Pretty sure it won't work on the Hunter 700L. But you get a 5-round AICS pattern P mag. So, folks, as far as the AICS pattern mags, one reason you might want to choose an AICS pattern mag, well, not the mag, the Stanag variation of the stock over the AICS variation of the stock is simply because AICS pattern magazines are expensive. This magazine probably retails for $40 if you buy it separately. That's not that you use this one, but more appropriately, the Magpul, here we go, PMag 10 5.56 AC. These things work flawlessly in this rifle. It's a single stack magazine, AICS pattern magazine, which I think most of them are. You've got a Ruger 223 magazine. It's a 10-round. And what's interesting is that magazine is very specifically for the 223 version of the Ruger Precision rifle, which is really funny because the Ruger Precision and the Ruger American, they are very, very similar. Not so much on the outside, but the bolts are very similar. The main difference between the bolts, notwithstanding what case head they're cut for, the shroud, that's about it. Maybe some other caliber specific differences, but that's about it. So, clean this crap up. As far as the AICS pattern mags, about $40 each for a polymer version. Lord have mercy on your soul. If you want to get legit AICS brand magazines, those magazines are over $100. Kind of ridiculous. $40? $40. Don't buy that one yet, though. Unless you just so happen to have a Ruger Precision rifle in 223. This magazine is about $70. I was not happy to spend that price. This the 10 round PMag for ARs, 14 bucks maybe. Aramag, not too different. Lancer Mag, these were kind of beating the head price wise. These doggone magazines are like $19. And I plan on doing a video kind of explaining the 300 blackout considerations, or what makes 300 blackout so specific when it comes to things like magazines. But we'll save that for another day. Realistically, folks, if you're the type of person who likes to have an abundance of magazines, and these look like a bad idea, AICS pattern, and these look like a really good idea. But again, I'm not sure if you can buy the bolt action magwell for AICS pattern mags for this rifle separately. I'm sure someone makes something that should work, but for the time being, these are serving me well. Now, a few things to consider. If you do ever plan on possibly rechambering or rebarreling, I suppose, which is, now that I think about it, this is why I brought these magazines out in the beginning. Grab, what's this, a Match King? Yeah. This is a 77 grain Sierra Match King, seated to about 10 thousandths of an inch off the rifling to my barrel for the 5.56 rifle. Actually, I should have just kept myself over there. Yeah, here we go. So, this isn't going to fit in the PMag unless you want just one. And that's with the round with the case head all the way back. So that's a no-go there. Because it exceeds the AR mag length of 2.260 inches, even with the Hera mag. Not really all that great. Grab that Magpul magazine. As far as the AICS, like I said, if you reload, you're probably going to want to get the AICS pattern, the AICS bolt action magwell, because with these 5.56 magazines, it's taut. I don't know if I'd want to seat them that far out. With the Ruger magazine, you can get it to work, plenty of space. An MDT magazine here, plenty of space. But I guess it also depends on your style of reloading. You know, personally, I don't have more than one gun that shoots the same cartridge. I have one 5.56, no 223s. Got one 300 blackout. But as far as the magazines, it's again going to depend on your, I get, for lack of a better term, your financial tolerance for risk. I mean, the cost of one of these, you buy two of these. Cost of one of these, the metal MDT magazine, you can buy what, four of these? Is that four? Yep, almost five. But enough about magazines. At the end of the day, is $300 for maybe better groups, is that within your tolerance, your financial risk tolerance, if you will? And If it is, go nuts. Get yourself one. But there are other options. I know MDT makes a chassis for the short action Ruger American rifles, but at that point, $300 for a stock or 400 some odd dollars for a chassis. And those are pretty much, if I understand correctly, they're pretty much going to exclusively use the AICS mags. And for all that, I mean, the price difference alone, let's say I think it was $460. So for $160, you can buy at least 4 of these. The 5.56, what are these doggone things called? AICS pattern magazines, which 5.56 is a very strange cartridge for AICS pattern magazines anyway. And this gun just makes it even weirder. Because unlike a Remington 700 and I believe the Savage Axis, Savage 10, 110, those use a 2-lug bolt. The Ruger and a few other rifles use a 3-lug bolt. I don't. Turn this light down a little bit. Yeah. Anyway, that leads to, in theory, a lot of different problems. However, it has solved at least the one problem, being able to use one of these in a bolt action. AR mags, I'm only aware of 2 rifles, 2 bolt action rifles that that feed from AR mags. Ruger American rifle and the Magpul, goodness, the Mossberg MVP. Yeah, I think that one even has a 2-lug bolt. So folks, until next time, I hope all your shots fall in place to make one hole ever so slightly bigger with each pull of the trigger. See you next time, folks.